Hey squad, welcome back. Now today we are continuing our mini series on techniques that will improve your mixes. Now if you want to check out the other videos in the series, make sure you check the links in the description or click the cards above. Now for today's video, we're going to be looking at delays and time-based effects and how we can use them to have a great impact on our mixes. Now, as I've said before, all of these tips and techniques I'm showing you in this particular series are completely universal, and although I'm demonstrating in Logic Pro, these skills are transferable to any DAW you're working in, as well as to the real world. So if you're working on a physical mixer or if you're working with outboard gear, these tips will apply there as well. So if you find value in this video, remember to like it, remember to subscribe to the channel, and remember to leave me a comment. It's always great hearing from you. And of course, if you think the content, the video is worthwhile, why not drop me a super thanks? It's going to go a long way in supporting me in what I'm doing right here. Anyway, it's that time, so let's get into it. Okay, so one of the most interesting things I discovered early on my music production journey was how the human brain connects and engages with sound, especially sounds that evolve and change over time. Now here's an example of this. Now have a listen to this single tone. And now the same note with some vibrato. I'm sure you'd agree that the note played with vibrato was a lot more interesting than just the pure tone. So let's try that really quickly with a simple melodic passage. The first time round, the notes were played with no vibrato, and then the second time round, we added some vibrato. And what vibrato is the pulsating of a tone using slight variation in tuning of the pitch of the sound over time, which of course creates interest in what's being played. Now that of course is a very simple illustration of how we can use very simple adjustments to our sounds and instruments to create more interest in what we're doing. Okay, so here's a quick little production I've thrown together to demonstrate some of these time-based effects. So let me play it back real quick. Okay, so let's break down a few of the time-based techniques I'm using here in this production. Let's start with this electric piano right here. So I've got electric piano here and I've got it down here. So have a listen to this section. As you can tell, the electric piano has got a bit of modulation on it, and it has got some interesting features that keeps you listening. However, this is the same electric piano part up here, and let's show you how these two things differ. They're exactly the same part, but just using different effects. In fact, let me switch the effect off, and so you can hear it here. Okay, so all I'm using is Logic's excellent Phat FX on this file, and I'm using the swelling pulse preset. Let's switch that on and play it back. Okay, so very simply, by just applying an effect that is going to transform a very ordinary electric piano sound into something far more interesting. And what's happening in terms of the time element is we've got this bandpass module here, and we've got this filter module over here. And LFO1 is modulating the bandpass module, LFO2 is modulating the filter module. And how these are modulated in relation to time is set by this dial here. 1/8 triplet timing on LFO1 and 1/8 timing on LFO2. And of course, by activating this switch right here, we're synchronizing to the tempo of this actual production, which is 112 BPM. So this tool already exists in Logic. And all I needed to do was start with a very ordinary sounding electric piano part. And then apply the effect. Then when I get to this section, I switch the effect off, and then we get the ordinary piano sound. So definitely have a go at experimenting with the Phat FX plugin if you're working in Logic, or if you're in another DAW, have a look for effects plugins similar to this that allow you to modulate the filters using time-based features like LFOs, and see what you come up with. If it sounds right, it is right, and then keep moving. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Now, one of my favorite plugins in any DAW is the stereo delay. And there are tons of ways in which you can use your stereo delay plugins to add interest and creativity to your works. So let's take this percussion loop right here, and I'll show you how I'm going to use a stereo delay to switch things up and make it sound quite different and add some more creativity and interest to the part. So here's the part with the stereo delay bypassed. Enable the stereo delay. Really simple and real fun. What I'd suggest you do is experiment with different factory presets and then tweak and adjust as you go along and see what you come up with. And this one is not just for percussion, you can use it on vocals, on synths, and a ton of other stuff. Okay, let's move to the next one. So let me show you how the stereo delay is going to spice up this synth hook line. Okay, so here's the hook just on its own with just a shaker playing. Now let's apply the plugin. So much more interesting. So don't forget to try out delay plugins, especially on your synth lead parts. This can really bring things to life. Okay, so check out this string section that I've got going on here. It's really simple, just playing a few simple chords, and it works quite well as it is. Let's play it with a few percussion parts. Right, now Logic has got this really cool plugin called the Autofilter, which I absolutely love. And in terms of transforming different parts into new parts with really interesting characteristics, this is an excellent tool that you can use. And again, if you're not using Logic, search your DAW for delay style auto filtering plugins, because they really can spice things up. So let me start playing the string section again, and then I'll bring in the auto filter. what a really cool feature. You got the filter sweeping the frequencies and you got the sound panning from left to right all at the same time, creating a far more interesting sound than with the strings just being pushed as they are. Don't get me wrong, they do work as they are without the auto filter, but by experimenting with these few plug-in tricks, you can be making your production far more interesting. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so finally, another really useful time-based effect or process that you can use to again create interest and even space in your mix is sidechain compression. Now, I've done videos on this before and I'll put links in the description, but for this demonstration I'm going to be using a fantastic little tool that many of you probably already know about, and it's a plugin called Nicky Romero's Kickstart. This is the original version. There's a brand new version out which you can actually download for free, but let me show you quickly how I'm using this plugin to add some interest in my percussion section. So I'm going to play back with the Kickstart plugin bypassed. Let's have a listen. Okay, and let's bring that in now. Okay, now let's try it with all the drums. Bypassed. Back in. Okay, and what's happening here is the plugin is ducking down the volume, pulling down the volume of whatever sound is passing through it over given time intervals and with different slopes. So let's try this shape, for example. Okay, and let's try this one. How about this one? And this one? And this really simple but free tool can be used not only on drums, but on any sound at all in your production. You can switch up the timing. Let's try it this way. Let's try a quarter note. How about this one? Quarter note. Half note. Hopefully the tips I've shown you today are going to help you in terms of creating more interest in your productions. So until the next video in this series, remember to like the video, subscribe, and if I've brought you value and you think it's worth it, drop me a super thanks. I'm Deuce, I'm out. Peace.